call-in weekly. Okay, you don't need to be a member of anybody, entity, or otherwise. As long as you've paid your ECRN license fee, you are more than welcome to join us. Okay, we've got apologies from Adrian that says he's got family over, and Norman has also sent apologies that he has got family over. So let's start off with a round of greetings. I'll give it to you, you give it back to me, and I think for Fred, I'll just pull my duplexing method, my manual duplexing method with Zoom. Oh, now Mr. Fred dropped off for some reason there. So hopefully he'll join back. Okay, John, let's start with you. ZS6, JNG, and the group, or the net at least, ZS6 OPS.
ZS6 OPS and the group from ZS6 JNG. Good evening, everyone. It's been a while since I've been able to get onto the net, but it's good to hear you guys out there tonight. All good on this side out in the East Rand, just pretty hot. A bit of a lightning storm on that last night, but other than that, all good. Back to you there, Chad. ZS6 OPS from ZS6 JNG in the net.
Okay, good stuff. Thanks, John. Pierre, let's throw it your way. ZS6 Foxtrot, Papa Sierra, ZS6 OPS.
Yes, Chad, thank you very much. Good evening, everybody on the net. Nice warm evening. Looks like summer is just about here. You know, we had 3.5 drops of rain yesterday. Hopefully there's a lot more to come. Chad, you mentioned something about big flood somewhere and not really checking out the news and stuff. I'm sure you're going to give us some more information there. ZS6 OPS from ZS6 OPS.
Okay, thanks, Pierre. Let's go over to Mr. James. James, long time no here. Where you been, eh? ZS6 JRM, ZS6 OPS.
ZS6 OPS, JRM. I've been around, just dipping behind the fire. So, yeah. But not much on my side. It goes well. Nobody feels. Back to you, Chad. ZS6 OPS,
All right, good stuff there, James. ZS6 Victor India Lima, ZS6 Oscar Papa Sierra and the net.
ZS6 OPS, ZS6 Alma's net. Yeah, from my side, it's all good. We're doing great. There's nothing really to report, and just standing strong on the side. ZS6 OPS and the net, ZS6 JRM.
Yeah, guys, I need assistance here. I need assistance here.
All right, good stuff there, Battis. Yeah, I can see you smiling. You heard something in the background there. ZS6 Mike Sierra, ZS6 Oscar Papa Sierra in the net.
Yeah, guys, those guys, ammo, eyes on clear. Ammo, clear. One guy is shot. Two guys, one guy shot.
Thank you, Chad. ZS6 OPS from ZS6 Mike Sierra.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Martin. Now, unfortunately, Freddie hasn't come back up yet, and I don't know if the WhatsApp message even went through to him. He might have dropped something in the process here on the internet, which is interesting. So yeah, okay, guys, let me just respond to Pierre's question or statement about not knowing what's happening with Sudan or the floods that I mentioned at the opening of the net. Over the last sort of 10 days, the River Nile naturally went into flood. It's the annual flooding system, which unfortunately this year appears to be a lot worse than it has been in previous years. And many parts of the Nile flooded out areas, and Sudan was the hardest hit of it all. There's many thousands of homes destroyed. 128 people have lost their lives. So it's a case of if you are up in the air, you see water horizon to horizon. Total number of displaced, I'm not too sure. I haven't heard anything on those figures as yet. I know that it has been reported on the news again this evening. And of course, last week when I brought it up or raised this issue, I said it was actually ironical that Ethiopia, having almost completed their dam build and the wall, the new dam wall, and they started to threaten that during the course of the last 6 months that they were going to start diverting water out of the Nile to fill their dam. I still thought to myself, yeah, well, hopefully Ethiopia quickly did it during the flooding season, because it would have been excess water. And of course, Egypt would not have been affected by less water arriving on their dry lands. Okay, let me clear the timer. Okay, then moving on, let's have a look and see what else is going on. Yeah, just another bit of useful or useless information, whichever way you want to look at it. Currently, the Belarus protests that are taking place today. Several hundred thousands have hit the streets yet again after it's about 6 weeks of protesting. And today they are reporting that the internet was shut down. So we're back down to my statements of 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. And I think with COVID-19, I've never brought it up. Technology, we cannot rely on it. We should not rely on it. We should not be relying on things like WhatsApp and WeChat and Telegram and Zoom. That is why we need two-way radios, and that's where we should be concentrating our efforts as well as our priorities. So yes, on that note, James, too many irons in the fire. I think it's time to just let them smolder away there and get back up on the radio and stick with that one. Moving on, COVID-19. Guys, this has not been a good week worldwide at all. As we stand at the moment, we are at 30,838,610 confirmed cases globally. We are looking at almost 1 million new cases every 3 days. So that's an average of probably about 2.5 million cases a week at the moment. On Wednesday, I think it was, we had the highest number of cases reported ever in one day, which was sitting at approximately 386,000 cases worldwide. The total number of global deaths now is standing at 958,090. So I should imagine that by around about Wednesday, definitely by the end of the week, if this trend continues, we will definitely be sitting on 1 million people that have lost their lives. And you know, that million number, guys, again, I've got to ask the question, which of your family, which of your friends? Having cleared the timeout timers, ZS6 OPS. Let me come back to that 1 million who have lost their lives or will have by the end of this week. My question that I believe every single person should be looking at is quite simply, which of my family, my friends or my colleagues do I want to see in that 1 million number? And if any of you come up with anything greater than one person, I mean greater than or equal to one person, you've got it wrong, because it should be 0. And in order to ensure that 0 of your friends, your family, your colleagues become a statistics, whether by infection or, and that's confirmed infection, or by the loss of life. Please, as we move into level 1, this is not the time to let your guard down. In all honesty, the shock is over. We're not at level 5. Level 5, we were forced into a lockdown. We knew we couldn't do anything, and we basically didn't. So our system is no longer reacting to the shock of a lockdown. But we cannot afford now to let our guard down. If anything, our guard should be tenfold stronger than it has ever been in the last 7 months, 8 months, 9 months knowing about COVID-19 or the coronavirus. This week alone, Israel, 5,000 cases in one day. They are entering today a 3-week total lockdown. They've come back to it 3 months after they started to ease their own restrictions. France, something like 10,000 cases. The UK, 3,000 cases. Friday afternoon, Spain announced a partial lockdown, but it is a total lockdown for 1 million residents of Madrid. Z6OPS returning. I know some people think I'm a prophet of doom. No, I'm not. I'm a person of factual, statistical information sharing. That's all. Again, 3 months after they started to ease their lockdown, Spain, who was on one of the highest numbers worldwide, again has forced 1 million people into a lockdown. India, 98,000 cases in one day. So our figures looking like this at the moment. 6.7 million in the United States. 5.4 million India. Brazil, 4.5 million. Russia seems to have settled down a bit, eh? They're still sitting at 1 million. Colombia, 758,000. Peru, 756,000. Mexico, 694,000. And South Africa, as at last night, 659,656. And our figures countrywide, as far as death toll, is standing at 15,940. Our average new cases per day over the last 7 days is 2,000. Now, I know that when the president gave his speech last Saturday night, when was it that he would go? It was during the course of the week. Tuesday night, I think it was. He's warned that we need to be careful that we don't enter a second wave. And looking at the trend worldwide, every country is being affected by a second wave. And it is because of that. Guys, don't let your guard down. The health restrictions that have been published and been put in place, even though the restrictions have been lifted, most of the restrictions have been lifted in terms of level 1 lockdown. The social distancing has not. The sanitizing has not. The face mask wearing has not. And the face masks are not to protect you, but to protect the people around you. So it's actually very interesting times that lay ahead of us again, especially with the okay, Z6OPS returning. especially with the need, and that is a definitive word, need, to balance out the financial aspects of our global and South African economy, and bring back some normality in a different norm, and try and rebuild the economy as a whole. It's going to be pretty interesting looking at the possibility of a second or even third wave. The initial predictions, well, yeah, something definitely has shifted and changed, and I think the global scientific community are going to be having a very good look at why it is that Africa, in particular, Africa, New Zealand, Australia, why is it that those continents really have, or countries have such low numbers in comparison to the rest of the world. So even on that note, I think it's going to be interesting times ahead, and we'll just have to see what pans out on it. All right, so I've covered the COVID-19, I've covered the flooding, I've covered the internet aspects, definitely the radio communications. Guys, we've got to take this more seriously, and I think all the amateurs basically need to do that across the board. We cannot be relying on technology. I saw there were some reports that were being released again, and news reports or briefings with regards to the possibility of load shedding for the next 3 months. So that is something we need to take into account. From a personal experience, guys that have got solar panels, solar systems, inverters, battery backups, you've got to check them. Seriously, you've got to check them. I know on the TJ Club TechNet last week, Thursday, we were talking about the interference on HF and the potential noise factor that's been created by things like the solar systems. And there we've got to be careful. I use the term solar panels, but it's not the physical panel that's causing the interference. It's the regulators and everything else that are in the loop, and the chargers, battery chargers, or whatever the case might be. So guys, we seriously need to look at all of this as radio amateurs, number one, and most definitely as CERT volunteers. It's something that genuinely has to be taken into account over the next couple of months. Okay, ZS6 OPS returning. The need to get antennas up, to get decent equipment up and running, that's another factor that must be taken into account. And then again, a constant test and checking of your system. Even Adrian got his chops burnt a couple of weeks back on his battery backup system. We expected it to work and it failed. Guys, it happens. Seriously, and it happens so quickly. You test it now and an hour later it's dead, you know. So you got to be able to watch this and not take it for granted. Okay, I don't know what happened there, but I think I dropped out. Okay, from my side, I don't think there's anything else that I want to cover. If anybody's got any questions, although just before I take any questions, Freddie, I believe you, yeah, ZS6 FWA, ZS6 OPS. Come in and give us a greeting quickly, over.
ZS6 OPS, this is ZS6.
Sorry, Chad, my Wi-Fi is shut. I don't know what happened here.
I'm not talking about English, and I'm just stuck in the garage quickly just to make contact with you and to say good evening. ZS6 OPS, ZS6 Foxtrot Whiskey Alpha.
And then I'm talking about technology failing. The other thing is, you know, I don't know if I heard you correctly there, but I think you were basically saying, look, dude, I'm I'm in the garage where my radio is. I think this is where all the guys need to really talk nicely to their wives and allow them to come inside, because garages in winter, I can assure you, don't work. Ask Arno, ZS6ARN. He used to go and sit in his vehicle in the middle of winter to come and join our Tuesday and Thursday night novice net. And at the end of it, he moaned. And then I said, but why didn't you put a base station up? You know what? I didn't think of it. He said, well, let me put up a base station. So he put up a base station and hasn't come up since. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe he just got whacked with the cold weather in winter. No, he comes up every morning. I mustn't say that. Okay, anybody got any questions, comments, statements, anything that they want to bring up? Otherwise, we're going to close the net. As ZS6IP is standing by. Right, so nobody's got anything else to say. Let's check. Any other late call-ins? Anybody want to add their name to the bottom of the list? ZS6IP is standing by. Ha! You see, I didn't have you on the list, eh? Right, ZS6SNY. Please take it down and say hello to everybody, and then I'll close down. From ZS6OPS. All right, good stuff. Thanks, Adrian. Guys, I'll pick up with you on Zoom once I've closed. I think I left a long enough gap for any other late call-ins. So on that note, I want to say thanks to everybody who has called in. Thanks to those that have listened. Hopefully you can walk away better informed than fake news. Talking of fake news, on one of my groups, late this afternoon, I received a screenshot of a Facebook post with regards to certain happenings in and around the country, and how we need to be careful and diligent and vigilant and aware and regarding our children. While those statements are true and factual, the screenshot by that particular person actually doesn't exist at all. So it would be like me sending out a screenshot of something I posted on Facebook or Twitter with content that I didn't actually share or post, that gets circulated in and around all the other social media. And guys, man, this is so dangerous. The thought that came to mind was the chappie that lost his life in India because of a similar kind of posting that was made, and it turns out he had nothing to do with it, and mob justice prevailed, and he lost his life because of fake news. So my final word is, please, before you share anything with anybody, be aware of two things. One, the sharing of fake news is a criminal offense in terms of Regulation 5 of the Disaster Management Act, or the regulations of the Disaster Management Act. Number two, the posts that you share can have dire consequences for innocent people of all ages. So we need to be very careful what it is that we say and we do on social media. In 2016, ZS6IP is returning after a timeout timer. In 2016, I raised and I published that subjective view on a very similar incident. So it doesn't only go to social media, but it also applies to what we say on radio, whether it be amateur, commercial, Charlie Bravo, civil. Okay, it's now the ski boat frequencies. It doesn't make a difference where it is. We've got to be careful what we say. So on that final note, again, please wash your hands, wear your masks, sanitize, social distance or physical distance. I still don't like the term social. Physically distance yourself from people. Be safe, be prepared, and of course, be happy. ZS6 IPS now releasing 145.625 for general use. Cheers all. Okay, you guys can unmute.
Oscar Papa Sierra, Zulu Sierra 6, Foxtrot Whiskey Alpha. Are you still there, Chad?
Affirmative, Freddie, I got you. ZS6 IPS. You guys can unmute yourselves.
Thank you. It's very informative. I really enjoyed this, and I think, yeah, it's very good to have that information coming from you guys. Guys sending false news and fake news. That's a big no-no. So thank you. I appreciate you being part of this. And I hope you have a good evening. 7-3 to you and your family. Zulu Sierra 6 OPS. Zulu Sierra 6 Foxtrot Whiskey Alpha going here.
All right, good stuff, Freddie. No problems at all. And for those that are listening, I just want to acknowledge Stephen, ZS6SJR that's going down too. So I'll add it to the bottom of the list there. ZS6 IPS out. Cheers all. All right, firstly, hello, Stephen. You might be late, but we've got, I think, 8.5 minutes on the Zoom session.
Okay, yeah, I was eating up. My apologies. Hi, everybody.
That's fine. You can take a handheld to your dinner table and listen, eh?
No, my wife won't be very happy about that.
I don't know who. Just hold on. I don't know who called last, but I have a feeling that might be Christian. ZS6 CPF, is that you, over from ZS6 IPS?
What I heard of the broadcast, thank you very much.
All right, good stuff, Christian. Nice to hear you up there, and I hope you're going to come up more often. A little bit rainy on your signal, but at least I got you. That's the main thing. Okay, I'm going to switch over to Zoom. I'm on a time limit there, and I want to chat to the guys on Zoom quickly. ZS6 IPS clear. 7-3 for now. All right. Mr. Stephen.
Yeah, hello?
Mr. Stephen, you must tell Miss Amy there that she's got a call sign. She will benefit as well. You just got to call in and add it to the list and she'll be covered.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, right. Anyway, guys, those of you that don't know, top left, well, my top left, the name says Magda Simon, but I must admit that's a male, and that's actually Martin. So please, Martin, he's boobless tonight. He left his bras and that somewhere in the beginning of COVID-19's level 5 lockdown. The beard, unfortunately, shifted north by many meters. And I said meters literally because of the fact that there is a book that it had to go over. And like mine, that's 2 meters from bottom to top to get to the chest, let alone the nipple area. Oh, shit, I'm still recording this. Let me stop